Set 3.5 is officially back for a limited amount of time and there is a lot to talk about. But it is not an exact copy of the final patch that we had back then because the old set is being updated with modern mechanics. This means you vote on a galaxy at the start and you're using the same items and augments as in set 10. This means that there are a lot of new and potentially broken interactions to discover. For this video, I want to showcase the madness that Astro Bard brings to the table. Bard was one of the most beloved units in set 3.5 because he has an extremely unique ability. With every cast, he will spawn a meep on your bench. You as the player can decide to sell these meeps and receive 1 XP for every meep sold. This only works during player combat. He cannot gain any mana during PvE rounds to prevent players from abusing a tank setup that would allow him to easily farm tons of experience. Aside from Mystic, he is part of the Astro trait. If you activate this trait, then all of your Astro units will have their maximum mana reduced by 30. This is incredibly powerful for Bard because his ability also has a passive effect that grants him more mana with each auto attack. So this is the core of Bard. But why exactly is he worth making a video about? Well, the main reasons are called March of Progress and Cruel Pact. These two prismatic augments can appear in stage 2-1 and have an insane interaction with Bard. March of Progress prevents you from leveling and grants you bonus XP based on your current player level. This means if you combine this with an ability that grants you experience, you can reach specific thresholds faster and the augment value will skyrocket. With a higher level, you also have easier access to more bards and potentially Astro units like Nara and Teemo, resulting in a snowball effect. Cruel Pact is quite similar in this regard. You push for a quick level 6 or 7 and then you're stuck on this level for a very long time. But not anymore. Thanks to your early push, there is a pretty good chance that you find an early bard, which now grants you bonus XP, which allows you to reach level 8 way faster than before. Now, if this was a normal set, I think Riot would absolutely stomp on this interaction because it is utterly unbalanced. However, since the set revival is more treated like an additional fun mode and is not supposed to receive any balance changes, this might actually stick around. But outside of these two augments, there is still more to cover. One question that usually comes up if you spawn something on your bench is the interaction with Clear Mind and Cluttered Mind. Riot usually has to include special rules for these augments because of item anvils or tome of traits to make sure that everything is working as intended. I tested both interactions and in short, the answer is meeps will be treated as a unit blocking a bench space. So Clear Mind doesn't work and Cluttered Mind does work. Now the only benefit to not selling the meeps is wanting to roll on specific level odds, but if you're playing Bard, then chances are that you want to push for levels anyways, so this interaction overall shouldn't become an issue. Finally, I want to highlight some of the new mana items that Bard now has available. For Bard 2-star, the math is incredibly simple. He has 90 or 60 mana, depending if the Astro trait is activated. He gains an additional 20 mana with every attack, so he simply needs 3 attacks without Astro and 2 attacks with Astro if he has no items. If you're not running Astro, then effectively you can give him any combination of Shojin, Blue Buff, Adaptive Helm or Nashor's Tooth to make him cast after 2 auto attacks. This is because these items also grant a good chunk of AP, which in return will grant him more mana with every attack. With Astro, the goal could be to try to reduce him to a single attack, but honestly this usually requires you to run 3 items. One hidden gem here is Adaptive Helm. Because of the high amount of AP and the bonus mana every 3 seconds, it is possible for Bard to cast after a single attack with only 2 items. For Bard 1-star, you can reduce the amount of attacks as well, but because his AP ratio for his bonus mana is only 5 instead of 20, in most cases you will simply reduce his required attacks from 6 to 4. One last thing I do want to highlight is that the Bard math often doesn't matter that much. You're going to face a lot of infiltrators that can easily take him out, and because he only has 3 attack range, he will often find himself too close to the enemy frontline and take damage from AoE abilities. One of the reasons why the focus on mana items instead of attack speed items can make more sense is because the pivot from Bard to Teemo becomes a lot easier. But if you really want to push this interaction to its limit, then a tanky frontline setup with items like Ginzo will probably lead to better results. This is more or less everything I wanted to cover. What is your favorite setup to get the most out of Bard? Let me know in the comments. I hope you learned something and see you next time.